Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NCAA 2004 in the Alabama Crimson Tide Dynasty mode, trying to win as much as possible, more than Nick Saban in real life. And we're on the quest to continue to do that today as we play the number 21 ranked Tennessee Volunteers, one of our big rivals, of course, in college football, and of course in this series, because Tennessee always likes to fight a little bit here. In the more recent years, it hasn't been nearly as highly touted as a rivalry. There was a time when Tennessee in this game, or this game between us, was like a top 10 matchup, but has not been that way for a few seasons. As Tennessee's kind of struggled, they've fallen on some hard times, they've come back around. They're still a competitive team. They haven't really stopped being a competitive team, but they've had some bad years mixed in there. Last year they weren't all that great either, so it's kind of back and forth for the Volunteers. There's not much of a guarantee as what they'll be on a year-to-year basis. But we just pulled off one of the biggest wins, one of the biggest clobbering victories of the Arkansas Razorbacks in the previous video. A massive win, obviously, as I mentioned in the opening cinematic for that game. That game typically decides the Western Division in the SEC, so that kind of puts a wrap on it. You know what I mean? So Tennessee's in the East. And it doesn't really matter what happens or if we win or lose this game as long as we win the Arkansas game. That's kind of typically how it goes, because Arkansas would need us to lose 2 games to even get back in the conversation. So that's, and I doubt that's going to happen from this point on, but we don't want to talk with the utmost of confidence because we have a lot more work to do. Even though we're towards the end of our schedule and the rest of the teams on it are not that good, we definitely still need to lock in and win. So that is the important thing. So 1st and 10 here for Tennessee's offense. Pressure is on, and it's going to somehow find that ball. Somehow going to find a way. As LaTroy Cummins is under the most immense of pressure, the Tennessee quarterback, and he somehow gets rid of it and finds an open receiver. I have no idea how, but he does find Jason Parks, an open receiver. So Cummings is going to try and run for it now himself. He's going to run directly into a brick wall. I'm not entirely sure what the plan was there, but shocking to say that it didn't work out. It's not going to work out. So 4th and 4, Tennessee's going to send out special teams. It's a long field goal. The kick is up, and it is good. So a couple more yards maybe, and he still probably would have had some clearance. So that's a good kick from Tennessee as they're going to take a 3-0 lead over your Crimson Tide. But now it is finally our time with the football, and we're going to prove what we have as Khaled Lumpkin makes an absolutely dangerous throw to Jeff Dillard, the tight end. And now Dillard is off to the races. Obviously does not have the speed to get away from the defense, but a very, very precarious throw from Khaled Lumpkin. Throws it in between like 3 defenders. I don't know what compelled him to make that throw. And thankfully, we're going to get another look at it because, dude, what on earth? Triple coverage. You threw it to the tight end in triple coverage. I mean, that's a head-scratcher. That's definitely a bit of a head-scratcher, but it worked out. Jeff Dillard got it and turned it into a massive gain, so I guess we won't be super mad about it, but still bizarre. So on 3rd and 7 now for Khaled Lumpkin and the Crimson Tide here, and that ball is going to be intercepted. He did not see the defender at all, but the ball's going to get fumbled on the interception, and we're going to scoop it back up. So Tennessee turns us over, and then turns themselves back over. So we now have the ball once again. We pretty much just gained yards on that play somehow. I mean, that is just a weird play. And this is a series, I haven't mentioned this yet, this is a series that always seems to produce a lot of turnovers. I don't know why. This game always produces a lot of turnovers. These results always have, like, turnover numbers in, like, the 7 or 8 between both teams. It's very, very bizarre. I don't know why, but it just happens, and that plays the perfect encapsulation of that. And now Keon Hood is starting to get himself involved. He just had the touchdown run, and now here he is just absolutely feasting on Tennessee secondary, getting to the second level and adding some more yards to the gains. So 2nd and 4 now. We're going to go back to Keon Hood, and he's going to get the first down again. Not a whole lot more, but it's enough to get the job done. So we are happy with what he is doing. His yardage on the year is not really all that impressive, but he's already got 9 touchdowns. So now 10 touchdowns with the one that he just had in this game. So it's kind of season he's having. And Khaled Lumpkin throwing a contested ball here, pretty much a jump ball. And I think Reeves probably could have been a little bit more physical to get that, but I get it. I see it. I'm not happy about it, but I definitely see it here. No, Lumpkin is really just making some dangerous plays. Or actually, that was Chip Milligan. I thought that was Reeves over there, but it's Chip Milligan. So not the best play from either player. Would have liked to see a little bit more, but Tennessee doesn't do anything with it. Now we are back on offense, and Lumpkin just absolutely leading. And I think that was Ben Medley on that side. Ben Medley and Reeves both have like the same getup, like they both have the tapes. Yeah, see, it's Reeves. So they both have the same like tape. They have the same face mask, the same visor. So at a quick glance, I can't ever tell which one is which. But Lumpkin under some pressure now, and he's going to absolutely get spun out on a sack. I'm just happy that he freaking held on to the football. I mean, come on. I'm just happy that he held on to it. So, but another tough decision now to make for the Crimson Tide. And now it's 4th and 10. We're going to have to settle for the 3 points. Signaben is not even going to consider going for it. A very, very long kick. We just saw Kendall Owens' range maxed out in the Arkansas game, but he nails this one. So maybe the wind was a little bit more favorable in this kicking attempt than it was a few weeks ago against Arkansas. So, but Tennessee now still with time left to go in the first half, but Cummings is going to make another costly mistake here with an interception. And now we are heading the other way again. Now we have plenty of time to utilize and cash in on the mistake here. Lumpkin back to pass here, steps up in the pocket, unloads in the middle of the field, and it's Chip Milligan once again making a huge catch, a huge completion. And that's going to basically flip the field for the Crimson Tide offense, and we are now moving the other way here. Just under a minute left to go. We are inside the red zone now, heading up to Keon Hood, and he gets the first down. Not a whole lot more, but he's getting the first down. Okay, he's continuing drives. That's important. But now it's 3rd and 11 already, and Lumpkin, the play just completely falls apart. He's trying to find an opening. Not going to happen here. Tennessee, I think, sent a little bit more pass rush than maybe he had bargained for, and he just tried to flush out as quickly as he could. Wasn't going to work. Not going to happen. So time expiring now. We're just letting it run, and Owens is going to nail home another field goal to take a 10-point lead over the Volunteers, who right now defensively are really showing their fangs, but offensively are really, really lacking in a lot of areas. So we're not in the most safest of areas right now, but things are certainly going well. If we can just continue the pace here, maybe turn some of these field goals into touchdowns. That's what we're really looking for. So Lumpkin back to pass now, and he throws it and finds an open target. Again, another wacky and contested throw, a dangerous one to throw. That one was definitely bizarre. I don't like that. I didn't like it. So 1st and 10 now for Lumpkin. Delayed handoff to Keon Hood, who shoots like a cannon up the middle of the field here, directly up the gut. And or actually, it's not Keon Hood. It's the backup running back. Can you believe that? It's him. It's the backup running back. It's Tremaine Moultrie. I had to go back and look. It's Tremaine Moultrie. And a good play from Tremaine Moultrie, but it was still short. So we finish up short, and we're going to have to take another 3 points for that drive. So 16-3 is now your score. Tennessee on a 3rd and 13 now on their own end, finding an open target here, and it's a huge gain for the Volunteers. And kind of like I mentioned in the Arkansas video, there's a few guys on the Volunteers still who are familiar faces that we've seen in previous videos of years past. You know, like Roberto Valentine is still on this roster. I think you guys probably remember me saying his name a few times, but he's been here. I think he's played all 4 years as well. So he's a returning person. I think he might have just made that catch. Did he just make that catch? Can we get another look at that? I think he just made that catch. As Cummings finds an open target and makes a very nice throw. And yeah, I think it is Roberto Valentine who just made that catch. So speak of the devil and he may come. But on the next play, they're going to go with a full back dive to Jamal Jones, who gets into the end zone for the Volunteers, and that is going to be that's going to make the game a one-possession game now. It's a 6-point game. So Cal Lumpkin got to get the boys moving here, got to get him in gear as he finds Chip Milligan down the right side of the field, and that's another huge completion as now we are running now from Tennessee. A game that we've been in a lot of control for, almost complete control of, is now completely kind of flipping on its head a little bit. And on 2nd and inches, we're going to hand it off to Hood, who gets absolutely sidelined, absolutely sidewinded, but he's fine. He's going to pick himself up. He should be okay. I hope so. I hope he's okay. I hope he's alive. Someone check his pulse. So 1st and 10 now for the Crimson Tide. We're going to hand off to Keon Hood, and now he's going to bring the whole cavalry with him into the end zone. Signaben wants us to go for 2 here. He wants to leave no shadow of a doubt against this Tennessee team because he knows. He's seen it before. He's seen the wackiness that the Volunteers can produce. And Keon Hood here dragging everybody with him here after getting absolutely floored. He's like, you're not going to get me again. So he gets into the end zone. Now 22-10. Now we're going for 2. Keon Hood able to get into the end zone on the 2-point conversion, and that is going to make this now a very difficult game for Tennessee as now they are down by 2 scores. They need 14 to get back into this ball game, but there's still plenty of time here. Just not plenty of time, but Tennessee still has time to work, but not when they make mistakes like that as Cummings throws another interception, this one heading the other way. It's not going to be a pick six, but we're going to get it inside the Tennessee 15, and that should all but do it for this game. That should just about ice things for the Volunteers, I would imagine. I would reckon that Tennessee is probably, their goose is officially cooked. I think the timers went off, and that goose is officially cooked as Cummings makes another mistake. We've gotten two pretty all-time bad performances from two of probably the better quarterbacks in the SEC. I mean, between Morgan Swift with Arkansas and LaTroy Cummings with Tennessee now, I think we've certainly seen the worst of both of those guys in these games, and two of the most important games for both teams involved. So, but we finally turned that drive into more points, and that is for sure just going to put the final nail in Tennessee's coffin. As we stated, as I just stated previously, that's the situation that we were in with Tennessee. So they wouldn't score any more points. They wouldn't do anything else. We would manage to hold on. And this game that was really close, I mean, it was 16-10, like, a handful of minutes ago, immediately turns into a 21-point victory for your Crimson Tide. And, and when you think things are getting shaky, they're not. Okay? They're not. Okay? We've got it figured out. But, again, as I mentioned in the previous video, we're starting to show a lot of that strength on offense here. It was a bit slow going in this game, but we still ended up pulling out a pretty solid offensive performance. As you can see, our defense completely smothered Tennessee's. Our defense has been really solid so far this season against some pretty good competition, you know what I mean? So it's been absolutely smothering, and Tennessee was really unable to do much of anything against them, and our offense was really, really potent once again. Again, it was a slow burn here. The turnovers were kind of starting to get a little bit out of hand, but we still managed to do what we needed to do it. And looking over the stats here now, Cal Lumpkin with a solid game here. No touchdowns. You don't really like that. And I think he did throw, a couple of interceptions. So that number's starting to get a little bit gross here. He's 17-4 and out 17-6. So you're not really upset about it. Last year he had 20 touchdowns. So remember, he didn't start the entire season, but he finished with 20 touchdowns, and he's already got 17 on the year. So, and I think he's already beaten his yardage numbers too. He had 2,200 last year, and he's got 2,400 this season. So he's already having a much better season than he did last year. Hopefully we can get him over the 4,000 mark and 30 touchdowns, but we'll see. So Ohio State managed to fend off Indiana. Remember, Indiana was in the BCS rankings. They were 6th, I think. They were undefeated, but Indiana takes their first loss of the season to the Buckeyes, as Ohio State's just throwing the Big Ten into complete chaos, taking them out of the BCS conversation. Virginia Tech barely gets away from Navy, man. A 500 Navy team, and Virginia Tech just barely crawls out of that one alive. They have to go to overtime and win that one in an extra frame to beat the Midshipmen. So Virginia Tech stays alive, and then South Carolina stays alive as they barely beat out Vanderbilt. I don't know if Vanderbilt at 5-4 probably has a chance to go to the SEC championship game, but this game for sure solidified that South Carolina is probably going to be who we meet in Atlanta at the end of the season. That's a safe bet. Nevada getting absolutely thrashed by Louisiana Tech. Now, you're like, why do you care about Nevada? Nevada's been one of those teams that's really kind of put together a decent last couple of seasons in the WAC. And I think they were even a top 10 team before this game, but Louisiana Tech has now beaten them pretty convincingly and knocked them out of it. So, fast forwarding another couple weeks here, or a week or so, and South Carolina falls to the Razorbacks. So it's just the second loss on the year, but remember, their first loss is to Notre Dame, so it doesn't really make much of a difference in the SEC standings, especially because Arkansas is out in the West, but that's a huge game for the Razorbacks to win if they were looking at us to do anything, so they definitely needed to win that game. But Notre Dame also drops 80 points on Tennessee. I just needed to show you guys this. They dropped 80 points on the Volunteers on the road. Oh my God, that's got to be a record. Neyland has never seen that many points dropped on the Volunteers. There's no way. That is absolutely bonkers. But we almost dropped 80. We dropped 76 on Duke, if that means anything. But we pick up 2 more massive wins. Our defense is just absolutely lights out right now. We are playing some great football, guys. Playing amazing football. And now, heading into the final week of the season against Auburn, we're going to look at a little bit of the slate here, some numbers, and see what we're looking at. So, in the BCS rankings, Notre Dame has overtaken Virginia Tech at number 1. Virginia Tech now is at 2, and we are still at 3. So, we desperately need something to happen with the Hokies and the Fighting Irish. And TCU, of course, needs a lot to happen, but I don't think they're going to get it here. They're 11-0. Their last game is against Southern Miss, I would imagine. for the Conference USA title. And yeah, here it is. This is probably for the Conference USA right here. Southern Miss could do a really funny thing and just knock TCU out of it. Look at those rankings, dude. TCU is a really, really great team, man. They have the second best offense in all of college football. That is remarkable. So, but looking to the teams in front of us, we need an 8-3 Boston College to really step it up and knock Virginia Tech out, man. We really need something to happen, a miracle to happen with the Eagles against Virginia Tech, man. So I don't know if we're going to get that one. That one's not that likely, but we desperately need Boston College to pull off an upset. This one's a little bit more likely here. The 17th ranked USC Trojans, of course, on the road to play Notre Dame and South Bend in their rivalry, but I don't know if Notre Dame's probably going to lose that game either. I don't know. I can't imagine. But that's at least a better bet between our two teams. Between the two things that we need, that's a better bet. So we're going to be heading into the final week of the season against Auburn. They are 7-5, and it's on the road, so I figure we'll watch another Auburn game, even though we'll probably win. But we're needing big things to happen elsewhere in college football. So I hope to see you guys in the next video when we see the end. See what's going to happen at the end of the season.